Hi, it's Don with Hitman Home Services. I'm excited today because as you can see, it's sunny here and that's rare. When it's sunny in Seattle, it typically puts an extra jump in your step and a smile on your face. This is the most exciting part of the project and also the most rewarding, and that's completion. So today I want to go over 3 things with you that if you decide you want to do a Sawhorse build yourself, you can consider. The first one is add-ons. I added some things that are not in the build videos and I want to go over those with you. Number 2, these are components that you don't really need for the Sawhorses to function. And number 3 is things that you might do differently. So let's get to it. Okay, add-ons. These are things that I added on. Number 1 is the boards. These are 1x4s. I used countersunk screws. They're really close to the ends here, so you'll split out those boards if you don't countersink these screws. But these are basically 1x4s with a 1-inch gap. I also added a leg support because down here, this is the weakest part of the Sawhorse. If this gets wet, soaked in water, soaked in dirt and that stuff outside, this is going to fail first. So I saw that and I put on a 2x4 extension here. This you can take off, it's not glued. I put 4 screws in here to hold this on there like that. And then my thoughts was I was going to get some substantial rubber feet and probably put 2 of them on each of these 2x. So those are the add-ons. Next up, this is components that you don't really need, okay? You don't really need a shelf in here. And you don't really need this gusset beam or this decorative piece here. The Sawhorses will function just perfectly fine without those components. They might be slightly weaker, okay, than that, but those are components that you don't really need. Okay, last thing is things that you might do differently. And this is one thing that I would consider certainly if I was going to do this project again. So you remember the gusset. So there's 4 of these, 2 on each side, and they butted up to that main beam. So instead of it doing that way, it would be much stronger. You would have more plywood and it'd be a cleaner look if you ran this plywood gusset all the way up to touch the top of that main beam. Anyway, this here would be solid all the way up to there. It's going to add a lot of strength, and I would consider doing that differently. It's plenty strong the way it is, but this would be a big improvement on that. It would also give you a little bit of a detail back here where you would have this would be 1/2 of an inch that way, and this would extend up to the top of that main beam. So that I would do differently. That's the main thing I would do differently. The other thing that you could consider, you probably remember this component, which is right here. So instead of this whole thing, which is really, I mean, it looks cool, I gotta say, but this could maybe poke your hand or something if you're down here. So really this component's kind of silly, to be honest with you. But if you decide you want to do it, if you decide you want to do this gusset beam and all of this, what I would do is instead of cutting the U-channel, this just comes off with 2 screws, by the way. But instead of doing this U-channel and running that gusset beam up in there, I would just cut a hole in the gusset and then run that continuous, and then you wouldn't even need this piece. So that I would do differently. All right, so just to do the final wrap up, it's been a wonderful project, and hopefully if you decide to build some Sawhorses yourself, this can be helpful. I did want to tell you that I know that I'd mentioned that I wasn't making furniture, but that Dremel tool worked so good, I just took the time to take off all of the glue. The knotty pine ended up looking really sweet, so I was going to just do like a varnish and actually try to sell a couple of these to some wealthy guy that lives in a cabin here in Western Washington. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you updated on that. But it'd really help me out if you could subscribe and smash that like button. And I'll hope all of your future projects go great. Let's get to it.